So, this is my Crookedstar's Promise video. And before I get started, I would like to humbly request that y'all hear me out. So I'm gonna go in fantastic detail. I'm going to go into great detail. I'm probably gonna go on some tangents. And my intention with these tangents and my critical review of this is not to make anybody not like this book, because a lot of y'all said this was y'all favorite super edition. And I want to have a long talk with y'all about it, because this is going to be a scathing review. I am 10 hours into this audiobook and I don't want to read it anymore. I actually figured that out around 6, but I want to drop it at 6 hours and be like, I hate this book, it's terrible. And then there's like hours and hours more. So maybe it gets better. It shouldn't take 6 hours for it to get better, but maybe it does get better. Crookedstar's Promise is a book that promises you everything. A fantastic story about a tragic character, but it delivers you nothing. And it all starts with the magpie. In the beginning of Crookedstar's Promise, there is this magpie that's like kind of soft terrorizing the clan, like it's a general annoyance. And you meet Stormkit, which is Crooked Kit's old name. Stormkit is Rainflower's favorite, his mother's pride and joy. He can do no wrong. He gets into trouble. He gets into situations that he's not really supposed to be in. He leads his brother into things. And you get this sense of, okay, she's really loose with the rules and enables his behavior. He does whatever he wants. And the opening scene with Stormkit in it features this magpie, right? I think Stormkit's climbing a branch or something, and he's showing off for his mom and his brother. And this magpie comes in, throws him off his balance, and he falls into the river, and somebody has to come save him, right? And his mother's like, oh, he wouldn't need saving. He's my strong, best kid. He's everything, and he definitely needed saving, right? And so these two warriors make it a point to talk about this magpie. They're like, oh, we got to do something about this magpie. It's just been generally annoying the clan or whatever, right? So there's another scene after this where Stormkit takes his brother, Oakkit, out to do something they're not supposed to be doing in a place they're not supposed to be doing it. He's climbing some shit he shouldn't be climbing, and this magpie shows up, throws him off his balance, and he falls. And so at this point, I'm like, they're loading Chekhov's gun. Post-edit 16 here. Chekhov's gun is when an item is placed in a story noticeably, even if it seems insignificant, must become of significance later. If a gun is placed on stage, then by the end of the story or the end of the scene, it must go off. Otherwise, it shouldn't be on the stage. This is Chekhov's magpie. And I'm like, this magpie is going to be the reason that he injures himself. Stormkit's hubris and his exploration and his mother's neglect, plus this magpie that's running rampant, are going to cause him to break his jaw. That's not what happens. Stormkit breaks his jaw when he tries to attack an older ThunderClan medicine cat, gets scared and tries to run away, slips and falls into the river, hits a rock, and breaks his jaw. This magpie is never seen, is never talked about or seen again, ever. And I'm 10 hours into this book, and this ThunderClan medicine cat has only appeared twice and probably spoken once per page that they've been on. Goosefeather. Once when Stormkit broke their jaw, and the second time, I believe they're either Crooked Paw or Crooked Jaw, and they're in the Dark Forest. That's it. In 10 hours, they've appeared on 2 pages. Maybe Stormkit did learn oh, let me chill out on kind of doing whatever I want, but I just felt like there was this setup for this consequence, and it really just didn't happen. So I was like, what was the point of that magpie? It was just some random fucking bird, just some random shit. And I'm gonna come back to this magpie actually a little bit later. It never appears again, but I'm gonna bring it up at some point in this video. Little did I know that was going to basically be the formula for the rest of the book. There's going to be a lot of setup and a lot of moving pieces that would seem to put things in place, and the tower gets built, and when you finish it, it's a different building, or the top never gets put on it. It doesn't have a roof. I don't know. It just seems like there's just random things being set up, and not a single setup in this book has had a payoff or results. Another thing about this book that bothers me is that there's a story happening, but it's not Crookedstar's story. There seems to be like all of these interesting things going on around Crooked, Kit, Paw, Jaw, but he's not involved in any of them. And if he was, the thing that they talk about with him later in the book, with him becoming deputy, would make a lot more sense. The first time I thought about a story happening around him but not involving him, when as a kid he came across Reed Feather and Fallowtail basically having like a secret meeting, right? And they're having a secret meeting because they're having a love affair. And later in the book, Fallowtail has these kits. And actually, I'm going to come to these kits real quick. Fallowtail gives birth to Gray Kit and Willow Kit, who will become Gray Pool and Willow Breeze. And for those of you who are, have read the books, Gray Pool mothers Blue Star's illegitimate Half River Clan kits, right? She gives them to her as an older cat. This book establishes that Crooked Star and Blue Star are not only the same age, but they're older than Gray Pool and Willow Breeze. But in the original series, Gray Pool is so old that she's in the Elder's Den and dies of like dementia. And the continuity is broken. That was like something that appeared really early in the book. The continuity is broken in a major way. It's not even like, oh, they forgot a character's gender or their eye color, or maybe like they were a minor character reappeared after having been described as deceased. This is a major character who is in the time is in the wrong place in the timeline. So the continuity is fucked. And that, honestly, that took me out of the experience. And I'm a very harsh reader, right? Like, if something like that happens where this just does not make sense at all, I'm going to stop reading. But because I love the Warrior series and I dove into Crookedstar's Promise and let everybody know I was going to be reading it, I was like, okay, I'll keep going. Maybe this book could be good even with this dumbass fucking continuity error. So anyway, there's a big hullabaloo about whether these kids are going to live in River Clan or Wind Clan. And Crookedstar never becomes a part of that at all. Like, he doesn't go to their camp and find out about the kids. He's not a part of the kidnapping to get the kids back. He's not a part of any battles to get the kids back. Hailstar does the most interesting thing where he almost drowns Reed Feather, and holds him down and drowns him to death. Which I was like, at this point, Crookedstar is a paw. And if he had been a part of the patrol to go kidnap those kids because, say, he was at the Wind Clan camp when he was a kid and he remembers it vividly, or, he snuck off to be a part of it, or they just selected him to be a part of it. If he was the one that had almost drowned Reed Feather as a paw, that would have been really cool. But at this point, I was like, oh, this is Hailstar's story. Hailstar is doing something really cool and interesting. Like, he's a flawed character that is trying to lead his clan, but obviously there seems to be like some demons hunting him because he's always staring off into the distance and he almost drowns somebody. Like, this is the most interesting thing that happened, and Crooked Paw's not even participating in it. And this happens over and over and over. And I think Crooked Paw could have done the drowning, right? Because he's supposed to be getting trained in the Dark Forest by Maple Shade. And this, oh my God, this bugs me so much. Maple Shade, for like the first 8 hours, is barely in this book. I kid you not, She teaches Crooked Paw how to do two things, two battle moves, to tuck his tail and not fluff his fur out. And those are the only things that she teaches him throughout the entirety. I'm at the 10-hour mark. Throughout the entirety of the book, these are the only things that she teaches him, right? And her teachings are supposed to be making him the strong warrior that is going to be the best in his clan and can fight really well and is impressive to everyone. But she barely teaches him anything. And he doesn't do anything interesting in this book. He does nothing. Like, all he does is sit around all day, play with kids, and wish to be leader. And I kid you not, there's a point in this book where the other characters just start saying that he's the strongest person in the clan. They just start saying he's the most impressive cat in the clan. He's the biggest cat in the clan. He's the most impressive. And he actually has not done anything. He hasn't won any fights. He's been in one battle. Nobody has seen him do anything impressive. It's just out of the thin air. Other cats just start saying it, which is funny because at some point in the book, they established that Mudfur is actually the strongest, biggest, scariest cat in the clan. And this is 10 hours in, they established that Mudfur is the scariest cat in the clan. One page before, he has a one-on-one battle with a cat from Thunder Clan over Sunning Rocks. You know who could have been in a one-on-one battle for Sunning Rocks and it would have proved that they were impressive and a really cool cat? Crooked Jaw. Crooked Jaw could have been in a one-on-one battle at Sunning Rocks. Nobody even saw him at the first battle at Sunning Rocks when he fought Bluefur. Nobody saw him fight Bluefur and another cat. That would have been a great chance for people to be impressed with him and to see what he did. But they couldn't do that. You know why? Because that battle already happened in Blue Star's prophecy, and Crooked Jaw didn't do that. But, I mean, you guys don't have a problem with breaking continuity, so maybe you could have just did it anyway, right? Or just added another battle that wasn't there initially. The only thing that Crooked Jaw does that makes him, at all could be impressed by his clanmates is a reused plot. Early in the book, Oakheart becomes a warrior before Crookedstar, and Oakheart saves some clanmates from a dog. And everybody's like, oh, really impressed with Oakheart. And he's really cool. And he's the strongest. And he's the best. Right? This book sets up Oakheart and Crooked Jaw to both be equally in line for the deputy position. And to have this brotherly rivalry that could get intense. But they drop it immediately. There's no brotherly rivalry because we all know that Oakheart is only concerned with his love affair with Bluefur, which is happening in the background, and it's not even a major part of this book. It's just oh, Oakheart's not here sometimes. Oakheart's not here sometimes. Oh, Bluefur was just here. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird because this Crookedstar should have been Anakin. This could have been a great chance for them to have this brotherly rivalry, and there just is none. Oakheart is fast tracking to be the best warrior in the clan, and Crooked Jaw suddenly gets that recognition and the position of deputy just because the book demands it, because he has to be the leader because he was the leader in the original series. So there's nothing interesting there. As children, they both wanted to be leader, and then one day Oakheart's oh, I don't want to be leader. I was just saying that. Anyway, so they reused this dog plot where later Crooked Jaw saves a clanmate from a dog. And they're oh, Crooked Jaw, Crooked Jaw, Crooked Jaw. I'm did we just use the same plot that we did from earlier? Oakheart already did this. Why are we redoing this? And then he never does. And that's 8 hours in. That's 8 hours into this book. It's 8 hours before Crooked Jaw does anything at all remotely even close to something that would impress his clanmates, and it's something that another cat already did. So as far as we know, he's not the greatest hunter, he's not the greatest fighter, he's not the greatest leader, he doesn't have any ideas, he's just the main character, and everything in this story is happening around him, right? I feel Mapleshade could have done some things to actually set him up to be leader. Let's talk about this promise, right? It's literally just a pinky promise. It's not even like a blood oath. It's not like some sort of ancient curse. It's not a contractual agreement that has consequences that are like stipulated into the fine print. It's just a verbal promise. That's it. It's just a verbal promise. And Maple Shade actually doesn't do anything to help him be the leader. Like, I know that's the whole point, but the story would have been like much better if Maple Shade set up events on purpose so that Crooked Jaw could look good and be impressive. And then later on, when he finds out that she's not from StarClan and she's from the Dark Forest, that all these bad things that happened to his clanmates that he was there to do are all really his fault because he made this deal. And maybe even she had him set up some of these things, like set up a scenario where a dog would be there unknowingly, like against his will, like he doesn't know that he's doing these things or that she's doing these things in order to help him out. And she just actually does nothing. And Crookedstar is both too smart and too stupid to fall for it. Like, at every point in this, he never really even listens to her. Like, at every point in this story, he's too smart to listen to her or too stupid to listen to her. Like, she's doing shit that's like obviously evil or obviously weird, and he's not participating in it. He's not taking part in it, and he's just doing his own thing. Like, Maple Shade is barely in the first 8 to 10 hours of this fucking book, and Crookedstar is just living his own life. Like, he's literally just doing his own thing, and she has nothing to do with it. And suddenly everybody's impressed with him, and she's like, you owe that to me. You don't know shit to nobody because ain't shit happened. I'm going to backtrack real quick to Crookedstar becoming Crooked Kit from Storm Kit, and Rainflower making Hailstar do that name change. I've been making skits about this book, and a lot of people have headcanons that maybe they were maybe Rainflower and Hailstar are siblings, or maybe they're having a love affair, or maybe she has some dirt on him. And this is where I'm going to talk about how Crookedstar is not the main character of his own book, because there's something interesting happening here. There's something interesting between Rainflower and Hailstar that made him do this stupid, dumbass decision that he and everybody else in this clan thought was cruel and unusual, and he did it anyway. And I'm like, okay, there's a story here. He almost drowned somebody. He changes a kid's name when he doesn't really want to. Like, he's struggling to keep like the clan together with their morale with Sunning Rock. Something's happening, but it's not. It just happens because the story says it has to happen. And everybody has built up headcanons about why Hailstar did this for Rainflower, because there's not an actual reason other than it needed to happen because his name is supposed to be Crookedstar. There's no, like, the book tells you that this is cruel and unusual and nobody likes it, but there's not an actual reason for it happening. I don't understand. There's another chance for like a lost opportunity in a plot right there. So anytime that a book doesn't explain something that it makes a big deal out of, and we all have to make headcanons, that's bad writing. That's gonna bring me to, and this is just something about the warrior clans in general. They allow generational trauma. They enable generational trauma. They just go, oh, well, that's their family. We're not going to deal with it. Clanmates are clanmates. So, you know, warriors are like the members of a family that they know, like the uncle is grooming a niece or nephew or something like that. And they're just like, oh, that's family. Those are warriors' cats, right? Because when Rainflower starts treating Crooked Kit terribly, everybody's sympathetic, but nobody really does anything. Like, Shellheart doesn't like it, but he doesn't actually stand up for his kid. The only thing that he does is divorce his wife. And I relate to that personally because I had a emotionally abusive stepmother growing up, and she was emotionally abusive to me my entire like childhood. And my father only left her when her craziness became inconvenient for him, right? But he didn't actually do anything about it the whole time. Shellheart only left his wife. he didn't do anything to correct her behavior or save Crooked Kid from it, and he didn't do anything to help his son. Echo Mist, Crooked Kid's real mother, let him sleep in her nest, but would kick him out in the morning as not to start a fight with Rainflower. Warriors cats enable generational trauma. I think that's very interesting, but Warriors has this thing about having interesting concepts that they don't actually do anything with, like the xenophobia and the ableism. They just have like these concepts and they don't actually go anywhere. So it just comes off as bad writing and enabling this behavior. But it would be way cooler if this stuff actually gets addressed in the story by other characters and corrected. So just more like ball drops. I came to reading this book after reading Tall Star's Revenge. Tall Star's Revenge was terribly boring, and I think it was more boring than Crookedstar's Promise, but I dislike Crookedstar's Promise more because it has so many elements to making a good story and it uses none of them, so it makes me more angry. Like, at least Tall Star's Revenge made sense even though it was boring. This book doesn't make sense, and it's irritating me. It makes me feel like these super editions are nostalgia bait. Like, it's like, ooh, Old Forest, dead cats that you used to like that actually didn't have those bigger roles. It's nostalgia bait, and these super editions are not well thought out and not well put together because I feel like they were afterthoughts. Blue Star's Prophecy, I maintain Blue Star's Prophecy was a fantastic book, and now I have to go reread it to make sure my younger brain didn't have like wool over my eyes. But I feel like way more interesting stuff happened in that book, and it actually had plot and elements, and Blue Fur was involved in them. Whereas Crookedstar is just watching the world happen around him, hoping to be leader, and then it does happen. So I don't know, it just feels like nostalgia bait. Like, I wish these books had been written together or basically not written at all, because in my opinion, if you can't tell a prequel that's just as interesting or better than the original, then why tell it at all? If it's not going to meet like that criteria, why even do it? Blue Star's Prophecy, I swear on StarClan did that. Anyway, if Hailstar says Sunning Rocks one more time, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Like, this Sunning Rocks thing is not even a major plot point. Like, this book feels like, I don't know, if you ever played D&D and then you get random encounters because the story's not happening or the DM is not set up. I think I heard in a podcast that Vicky worked on this book herself. Don't quote me, but it just feels like they're just random encounters happening in between the bits of actual story. There's Sunning Rocks, the dogs show up 3 fucking times, random 2-leg stuff, just bullshit happens. Just random River Clan slice of life bullshit and no story. This book could be so condensed. And it's just boring. Like, I can't watch Crooked Jaw play with Kits one more time. Also, I think his name should have been Crooked Fang. I think Crooked Fang would have been way cooler and less ableist and weird. I like the fact that he was able to be like, oh, my name will probably be Crooked Jaw, and then he gets named Crooked Jaw. Is crazy. I think Crooked Fang would have been cooler and less on the nose, but whatever, writing choice. Coming back to Blue Fur and A Tale of Two Brothers, I really wish this could have been a tragic hero story where Crookedstar is a bit of an antagonist in the first series, if I recall. And I just feel like this book should have been a struggle of moral choices for Crookedstar. Like, he's working in the Dark Forest. He's setting up stuff for him to be the leader, unbeknownst to him. And when he finally finds out that he's in the Dark Forest and that Mapleshade set it up for him to be deputy and thusly leader, he has this moral choice and obligation where he's like, oh shit, I've actually been fucking shit up, but do I want the power or do I want to be a good warrior, right? And Oakheart's just a good warrior. And I feel like there should have been this sibling rivalry. There should have been this, who's going to be deputy. There should have been some more moral turmoil for Crookedstar. But he's just a good cat. He's just a good cat who wants to do good things. And Brambleberry is the worst medicine cat I've ever seen. She's literally the worst. She's terrible at her job. Everything that she does makes the story worse. I thought that Brambleberry was going to be like a mother to him or kind of like an older sister to him, but all Brambleberry does is confuse Crookedstar when he's already a good cat and a great and loyal warrior, but she has this prophecy that she's not telling anybody that she's nervous about, and she's just like, oh, I hope you make the right choice. I hope you make the right choice. I hope you do good. And she's creating all these doubts where Crookedstar was already doing good and making the right choices. So everything that she says is completely arbitrary because there are no hard choices for Crookedstar to make. He always makes the right choice. He's just a regular dude who wants to fight for his clan. He makes the regular choice every time, and she keeps bringing it up and making him like question the good decisions that he's already making. She could just explain what the fuck she has seen or what is going on. There's no reason for her to do it other than to create this fake tension. But the only tension is that it would be great if she shut the fuck up. That she's creating tension in my blood pressure in my veins. Just stop talking. You're not helping anybody. You're not doing anything. You're poorly written, and you only show up to make a situation worse than it already is. This is post-edit 16. I want to clarify something. Characters making bad choices, even being bad people or doing dumb things is not bad, right? What's bad is when a character is poorly written and when tension that does not exist in the story is fabricated because the story is trying to force you to feel tension that is not there. Right? It would be different if Crooked Jaw actually had this moral turmoil and there was this will he or won't he fall to the dark side sort of story, but there's not. So Brambleberry doesn't actually show up to serve any purpose at all because there's no tension. Speaking of the Tale of Two Brothers again, they were setting it up like it was going to be a love triangle, I feel like, between Crooked Jaw and Blue Fur. We already know Oakheart and Blue Fur get involved, but what if there was like this secret love triangle? That'd have been cool. That'd have been another element because Blue Fur was Crooked Jaw's like second major friend. Like his first friends were the ones that he made when he ran away, and then his second friend he made was Blue Fur. And like they were really cool and they had a lot of fun together. And I thought that there was going to be like this love triangle, but there wasn't. He was just friends with her, and then he wasn't, and then she's not in the book because she has to spend time with Oakheart because her story's already been weird. So Blue Fur showing up was just fan service. I don't need fan service. The only fan service I need is for you to service me a good goddamn story. Crooked Jaw's omen for becoming the deputy, like the crooked jaw of a squirrel, is, I mean, that's an interesting thing that Maple Shade did. I would have loved if that was a magpie that he caught that had a crooked jaw. That would have been way cooler because the magpie should have been the reason that he broke his jaw. But it wasn't, and nothing that happens in this story matters because there's all setup, no payoff. So that was just a little tidbit that made me upset. Also, the Dark Forest makes no sense. There's no consistency with how Maple Shade can interact with Crookedstar versus the Dark Forest versus the real world. And why isn't he tired? Because in the other books where cats were consistently in the Dark Forest training all the time, they were always tired and they had scars. But Crooked Jaw has scars for a little bit when he's a paw, but there are no actual real consequences for him being in the Dark Forest. I would have liked it if him being in the Dark Forest, like the longer he interacts with Maple Shade there, the more she can interact with him when he's awake. And that way she can start kind of fucking up his life a bit and changing things. Like the one thing that she does that fucks him up is roll a ball towards him, and Willow Breeze gets kidnapped by a two-leg and they have to go save her. And that's a plot that's already happened in the original series. So like just a bunch of reused plot elements and shit and just stuff that's not well thought out is annoying to me. That's really it. I haven't finished the book, and I think it does get crazy in like the last, I guess, maybe hour. I got 3 hours left. And I just don't want to spend 3 more hours reading this because I'm not enjoying it. And I really want to read The Children of Blood and Bone. That's been on my reading list for a few years, and the movie's coming out, so I really want to check it out. I do really badly want to reread Blue Star's Prophecy, so I don't know. I'm either going to jump into Blue Star's Prophecy or Children of Blood and Bone. But I was really excited to read this book because after finishing Tall Star's Revenge, a lot of people were like, oh, Crookedstar's Promise is my favorite book. And I want people to try to reread this as adults. Like, my intention here is not to make y'all hate the book or anything, or dislike it. I just look at them objectively, and I just really didn't like this book. I was like, this just... And I feel like a lot of the Warriors books are not well thought out later into the series, and this feels like a product of that. Like, if Vicky wrote it herself, it shows. So, sorry, y'all. I had to rag on it, but gotta keep it a bean. Post-edit 16 here. I'm going to finish this book, and I've decided that I am going to read Blue Star's Prophecy right after, before going to Children of Blood and Bone, because I need to relive that experience. I need to know that book is as good as I remember it. I read Into the Wild, the Prophecies Begin series, just about 2 or 3 years ago when I was like in my late 20s, and it was fantastic. It held up, so I think that these books still hold up. But I think that one of the reasons that Blue Star's Prophecy succeeds, where, in my opinion, books like Crookedstar's Promise and Tall Star's Revenge fail, are that these are characters that were... Crookedstar is more of a side character than Tall Star. And he's a character that seems to have a story that was shoehorned in just to be told simply because of the sake that he seems like a cool character because he's got the crooked jaw. But other than that, like, Blue Star had a really interesting and compelling backstory that became important elements of Fireheart's journey. And Crookedstar just didn't have that. And it was fabricated and not fabricated well, even though it could have been done well. So that's basically it. I'm going to go and check it out.